Welcome to today's SeafoodNews.com video, sponsored by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute.
Good morning. It's Tuesday, February 26th. We want to talk today about the countervailing duty report put out by the International Trade Commission. The staff released a 180-page report today that detailed the reasoning and the findings that the ITC used when they voted to go ahead with a preliminary investigation of the countervailing duty suit on shrimp. The report is interesting for a couple of reasons. First, there is dissension on the ITC. The vote was not unanimous, it was 4-1, and one of the commissioners, Daniel Pearson, argued very strongly that imported shrimp and domestic wild shrimp are not a like product. He made the point that for the subject shrimp imports, 80% of them were sold directly to retailers and to large restaurant chains, institutional users, whereas for the domestic wild shrimp production, 80% of that is sold to seafood distributors, who then in turn resell it to smaller customers. So Pearson argues that the fact is that this market is really bifurcated between the imported and wild shrimp, and that therefore the domestic industry cannot claim that it's being injured by a like product. The other commissioners don't agree with this, but they were somewhat tentative in their statements about their conclusions about like products, and they say that they're open to further testimony and further statements from buyers about whether wild domestic shrimp and imported farm shrimp are in fact substitute products or not. The other interesting thing in the report was the full list of the subsidy allegations that are being made against the different countries. We published this list to show what alleged programs in the various countries are being claimed as subsidies. What's striking about this list is the very broad nature of many of these programs. The countervailing duty law is supposed to apply only to tax or to incentives that are targeted to very specific industries. Many of the subsidy programs listed in the report are things like your home mortgage deduction for your income tax. And if that applies to everybody across the board in a particular country, then there's no way that it can be counted as a illegal or a duty or an expense that a countervailing duty can be proposed against. Anyway, this is going to get sorted out in the investigation. The final thing, which we didn't include today, but we will reprint tomorrow, is the government responses to the ITC, in which they estimated their 2013 shrimp production and inventory situation, etc. So I don't think the ITC is necessarily an ally who's going to vote that there is no injury in the shrimp determination, but they're certainly open to arguments in that direction, and eventually they may come to understand that in fact the imported shrimp and the wild domestic shrimp really do serve two different markets. In Lexington, Mass., this is John Sackton.
Today's SeafoodNews.com video was brought to you by the Alaska Seafood Marketing Institute. Alaska has been protecting wild and sustainable seafood for generations and adheres to the most recognized and internationally accepted set of guidelines written by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. For recipes and additional information, visit wildalaskaflavor.com.